myself, 'cause I love you, yes I do. And when you give me that sexy little pout, it turns me inside out. There's something about you, baby, I don't know. Isn't it amazing a girl like me can feel this way? Tell me how much longer it would grow stronger every day. I thought I was in love a couple of times before with the boy next door, but that was long before I met you. Now I'm sure that I won't forget you, and I think my lucky stars that you are who you are, not just another lovely baby set out to break my heart. Isn't it amazing a girl like me could feel this way? Tell me how much longer should it grow stronger every day?
You're listening to Just Jazz on Route 664 Radio, The Road to Human Kindness. I'm your host, Les Haber. And that was Nicole Henry's Your Smiling Face.
How are you all? Good to see you.
Well, it's been a long time. I'd like to introduce you to Nicole Henry. I think she's one of the best singers in the world today. I started loving Ella Fitzgerald and Nancy Wilson back in the day, but Nicole is my new favorite. Nicole, how you doing?
I'm just so touched by that introduction. Thank you very much. I am good, Les, and it's like I'm talking to my friend here, so I'm just always happy to catch up with you. And so whoever's listening, I might slip into friend mode, not interview mode, but great to be with you. And I'm just touched by the introduction because Nancy Wilson's one of my favorites, and of course we all love Ella.
What was the first thing that turned you on to jazz, and what instrument did you first get into when you got into it?
I would say the first thing that turned me on to jazz was seeing jazz live, if that makes any sense. I didn't grow up on jazz. I grew up in Philadelphia or outside of Philadelphia, listening to soul music, gospel music, pop music, of course, because, you know, that it was the 80s and the 90s, so MTV and so forth. So, but I wasn't formally introduced to the genre, I used to watch my grandfather drink, having a cup of whatever, which I thought was apple juice, having, his little whiskey or bourbon or whatever he was drinking in his leather chair, listening and oop bop doo bop doo ba shooby doo, listening to that. But I didn't, I was a kid, like under 10 years old. And then, of course, I saw Lady Sing the Blues. I would see Ella Fitzgerald on like the late night talk shows, but I didn't really grasp what jazz was as a genre until, of all places in the world, in the 90s, hearing it live, or actually early 2000s, hearing it live in South Miami Beach. And I was at that time, had just started going, being a full-time entertainer, singing and acting, mostly singing at that early stage. And I was doing a guitar duo, a vocalist, and then I was singing, and my friend Lou was playing guitar. So that was how I first started singing full-time in Miami. And so we were invited to do the opening act for be the Love Hour for 90 minutes, be the Love Hour before the jazz quartet started. And then I would stick around after our show and listen to jazz for 3-4 hours till 2 o'clock in the morning back in those days, And I was like, oh, this is jazz. This is Frank Sinatra and Cole Porter. I'd hear people introducing the songs. And I just was like mesmerized by this new genre of music that I like immediately fell in love with. Yeah, I remember sitting in the chair, going upstairs to the Van Dyke, listening to Mike Orta. It was Paul Schuchuk and Danny Berger. And that was my first trio. And I just, they had different vocalists that would front them. And then about 3 months into doing this project, going and singing as a duo with the guitar, and then listening, the bassist, Paul Schuchuk from that trio, just said to me, well, if you love, I'm so happy you love jazz. He gave me he burned some CDs for me, which I later vowed to and bought them because I was like, I'm not going to, copy my favorite singers now. He gave me like 5 CDs of Nancy Wilson, Sarah Vaughan, Carmen McRae, and Ella. Mm-hmm. He said, why don't you learn some songs and get a show together? And April 22nd, 2002 was my first gig singing jazz. And that's my love story. Period.
That's awesome. Did you go to school for it at all?
No. And I really, of course, it's never too late to learn. I did study some piano a couple years ago at Miami-Dade, but I need to practice. My keyboard's in the closet. I studied music. I studied cello when I was in middle school and high school. So I know how to read music. I understand theory, but I don't really know my scales. Music, my studying has been 10,000, 20,000 hours on stage, and that's been my studying, listening. But I do recommend anybody out there listening who's getting into jazz, learn an instrument, learn how to accompany yourself, take some theory classes, because it only helps you and your ear to get more creative and take full advantage of the freedom that jazz gives you, which is do whatever you want within the tight rules, but then just go out from there. Yeah. So just listening and playing.
Yeah, I was kind of lucky because my mother was trying to teach me classical piano, and my uncle sent me a drum pad, drumsticks, because he hated my mother. And that got me into drums.
Yeah.
From the very first time I laid my eyes on you, my heart said follow through. But I know now I'm way down on your line. But this waiting feeling's fine. Just don't treat me like a puppet on a string, 'cause I know how to do my thing. Don't talk to me as if you think I'm dumb. see. I don't want to wait in vain for your love. I don't want to wait in vain for your love. No, I don't want to wait in vain for your love. Summer's here, and I'm still waiting there. Winter is here, but I'm still waiting there. I'm waiting. It's been 3 years since I'm knocking on your door, but I still can knock some more. But ooh boy, is it feasible? Should should I knock some more? In life I know there is lots of grief, but your love is my relief. These tears in my eyes burn, tears in my eyes burn. While I'm waiting, I'm here waiting, I'm left waiting for my turn. But no, I don't want to wait in vain for your love. I don't want to wait in vain. I don't want to wait in vain for your love. No, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't want to wait in vain. No, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't wanna wait in vain. It's been 3 years I've been knocking at your door, 'cause your love is my relief. But I don't want to wait in vain. I don't want to wait in vain. No, I don't want to wait in vain. Summer's here, and winter is here. And it's cold outside.
I've
Nice.
enjoyed listening to you every time I've had the opportunity. And the next time you're playing someplace in South Florida, tell me, and I'll announce it on the radio show and urge people to come see you.
I have been traveling a lot. In fact, I'm actually thrilled right now to be home for the next few months. In and out, but I'm not traveling as much. Thank God. The last 3, what years is the last 3 years? I've been on the road a lot with the success of the last album, so that was a real blessing. In fact, I just finished the touring with one of my favorite venues now in the United States. It's a Jazz Alley out in Seattle. I debuted there.
That's where Monty is now. It would be amazing to hear you singing with him. And the bass player and the drummer that he's got are amazing.
I have to look up who he's with, who he's on the road with. I look forward to hearing that. Oh man! So let's tell me. Well, I know this is my interview, but real briefly, what else? How was your trek as a musician after getting the drums?
Great. Playing with Monty for as long as I did, which was for about a year and a half, before Sinatra took him away.
Wow.
And I went back to college. He's the best piano player I've ever played with by far. I used to play with a bass player named Walter Bernard, who was phenomenal, upright bass player. And both of the Castellano brothers, I think that's before your time.
I've heard of them. Jimmy, which Castellanos?
Castellano, there's two Castellano brothers. There were Dolph Castellano was one, and Tony Castellano was the other.
I knew Dolph and played with Dolph a couple times.
Dolph was a really good piano player.
And funny.
He passed.
Yeah.
And he's got a son that's playing in Austin, Texas, that's playing piano.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, small world.
What a blast. Dolph Castellano. I remember that. Oh, I remember him. He was fun.
We played at the Cadillac Hotel, I think, for a while until the owner wanted to sit in on clarinet, and he was so terrible. Dolph quit.
Oh, my. Oh, so he kept sitting in like it wasn't like optional.
Yeah, he would walk in with his clarinet and say, I'm playing the next one. And he didn't know what the key was. He couldn't play it. Dolph, after 2 or 3 times, got up and said, I'm done with this gig. And then I got up and I said, I'm packing up my drums, goodbye.
Wow.
And we all left.
Oh my gosh. That's a story. That's fun. That's something else. Oh, that's too bad.
But tell me more about you and some of your experiences that you've had. You're a phenomenal vocalist. You really are.
Yeah.
I thought you had to be trained for years to sound as good as you do sound.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wow. So I've been singing since I was a child, school choirs, church choirs, the national anthem everywhere. I do any competition just to have another opportunity to sing. And, but just thought it was fun. And when I went to college, I didn't realize that there was a real pathway, that college could start the pathway to, or continue a pathway to become an artist of any kind, acting, singing, whatever. So I didn't study music at college, unfortunately, though I went to the University of Miami, great school, and graduated. But I always loved singing. Singing for me was Whitney Houston. That was like the epitome. Singing Whitney and Aretha. That was my go-to, mark of excellence. And so oftentimes people say I sing like Whitney Houston, which that's a huge compliment. And I have to say, it's not just the last 6 years, I've found vocal coaches that I was able to understand, or, they met me at the right spot and helped me grow further as a vocalist. And I'm so grateful for that, because it's such a different game when you have the right what would you say, practice, under your belt. And so I love warming up. I love continuing to take classes with my coach and coaches over the years. But coach right now, I have a guy named Dan Thaler out of New York. And I just have been so blessed with great musicians. I found that musicians are such a fun group of people to have as coworkers. Their hearts, it's not like we're all in this to become gazillionaires. So not that makes a cool person, but you're living from your passion is, I guess, the way. And so there's a certain energy that is met with you when you go on stage or when you go to a rehearsal, because it's not like someone's making you do your job. So that alone has really been such a blessing. I've always said I just want to work with people I like. People I like are all the musicians on stage with me. And I think that's because we're happy. We get to do what we do.
Not only do you get to do what you do, you get paid for it. And I've always looked at the connection of musicians in a group playing together that really connect is a joining of the soul.
It's such a blessing. It's such a blessing. I mean, I can, rehearsals to me are sometimes the best part, because it's just like, I just am so grateful. You forget when you're on stage, you're kind of doing your job, and you don't get as lost. Like for me, I don't get as lost. Like, yeah, at rehearsal, I'm also trying out new things and not embarrassed to fail if I'm trying for something. But then there are moments when I'm just like so grateful that I have this opportunity to grow in my art that I love. And it's like I almost come to tears more at rehearsal than I do on stage, because it's just such a blessing. Yeah, I forget the question. Me, I can talk. So keep
Hang
going.
on a second. I love rehearsal, but I have a question. What about your acting? Talk about Color Purple.
Ooh, acting. Well, I just it's funny, I'm wearing the color purple, not that you'll see it on this radio show, but the color purple was such a beautiful experience. It was a dream role, and I hadn't actually been dreaming about doing that role in quite some time. But then when the audition popped up, I was like, oh my goodness, yes, I auditioned to be Suge in the color purple, and it was the production in Raleigh, North Carolina at the North Carolina Theater. To me, same thing with acting, but it's such a different approach to expressing humanity and celebrating humanity. But it's similar, just as not as immediate. Of course, songs are so immediate. You can get up, you can sing a song a cappella on the corner of the street. You can't quite land a monologue, with passersby. I love acting because of the psychological approach to it. In fact, I had an audition yesterday that I just submitted, and I had like a day to finish it. And it was becoming a character that I had to face something about myself that I wasn't as strong in. For example, this character spoke her mind and was really clear in her conversation about what they wanted and what they needed, and getting to their point really quickly. And sometimes in life, for me, for example, I'm not always as direct and communicative as I need to be in conversation. And so I had to like say, okay, Nikki, I had to kind of psychologically think about who I am and then who my character was, and say, oh, right, you don't have to always be gracious, and get that out of the way. So it's just, acting to me is such a different approach of learning self or relearning who you are so that you can then become somebody else. And I love that cycle, that part about acting. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I love acting, but it's such a different challenge of performing. Yeah. It's so great to be with you too, Wanda. Great to hear your voice.
She does a phenomenal job making my voice sound good, which it's not like it used to be. I used to be able to sing, but I smoked cigarettes for too many years. It killed my voice. I think my first paid job, I was 11 years old. I'm at home doing homework. My brother calls me and says, what are you doing? I said, I'm playing homework. He said, no, you're not. You're playing drums. Pack them up. I'm coming to pick you up. So I made $25. I was 11 years old, and it was like dying and going to heaven because I was playing with these guys that were in their 20s for the most part. I would love to hear you sing Green Dolphin Street.
Ooh, I never have done that one, but let me see how
far it changes.
I've known the song, so out of knowing it for so long, maybe. I'll see. I'll look at that. All right. You know what I would do with, well, we'll talk off there, but I would just want to do ballads with him. I've always wanted to do a ballads album. And you know who, you remember Mike Orta? Yes. I had always wanted to do a ballads album with Mike.
My favorite with him, or favorite to play with him, is Battle Hymn of the Republic.
I've never heard him do it.
Google him, Battle Hymn of the Republic. It'll blow you away. It's a blues march.
Okay. And he's recorded it?
Oh, yeah. It's on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Go to YouTube, Battle Hymn of the Republic, Monty Alexander.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Mike Orta. Oh, no, but I will. I'll definitely check out Monty's. Oh, fun. All right. Tonight I'm going to sit in just because, I'm in town, and I'm just excited to be home, and just excited to meet new players and see what's going on in Miami. So tonight I'm actually going to jump in and sing a song with the show that Sunshine Jazz Organization is doing tonight, Jazz in Motown. They're at the Lyric Theater. So I'll sit in and do a song with them.
A lot of people don't know the history of that place.
Oh, wow.
It was the first the first Black theater in Miami. And I think it goes back to the early 1900s.
Yes. In the lobby, they have a little bit, they have some of the historical information.
That's where they do that thing every year in February, Melton Mustafa Jazz Festival. And yes. I think his son's doing it now. He plays sax.
Yes. His other son is a great trumpet player too, when he's, I can't think of his name, but he Yasmin, he has a great sound when he's hitting.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm working on new material, and this is going to be the first time I'm actually writing. So I have a bunch of original songs that I'm going to do. I would say it's a little bit more contemporary than straight ahead jazz. So that'll sound a little different, but I do know that the next album, if it's not my Nancy Wilson tribute album, I do want to jump back into a jazz album. But one day I will do my Nancy album.
Years ago,
Mhm.
we do a music thing once a year. And I went and I saw Tito Puente Jr., and he was totally commercial. And when he took his break, I said, if your father heard you, he would turn over in his grave. And he changed and he got back into it. There used to be a thing, trying to remember, it was on Biscayne Boulevard, top of the Columbus Hotel on Sunday afternoon.
Um,
And it was Latin Jam with Tito Puente. And that's where I met Candido for the first time.
yeah.
And I bought congas from him in 1972, and I still got them,
Oh, that's so cool.
and I love them. But Tito Puente Jr. now is playing like his father with a big band,
Oh,
and
good.
it's amazing. It's great.
Good. Good. No, it's good to hear that he's got such a legacy.
Oh,
You know,
his
that's
dad was amazing.
yeah. I'm glad he's taken up that mantle because not everybody wants to, do that and
No,
have to fall in. Yeah.
and Afro-Cuban jazz is a special thing. I have a message for you
Tell
from
me.
Monty Alexander. I was with him in New York on the 30th at Birdland.
I almost went to that show, like literally
Really?
that night. Like at the 9:30 show. But then we were just tired. We're like, oh man, I'm gonna miss him again. So wait, you were there. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry. This
was
is crazy.
there. There were 6 of us that flew in, all from different places, that have played with him. When he first came here from Kingston, he was 17, I was 18. He came into a coffee house I was working in with a guitar and a bass player. There was a piano. He said, can I play with you guys? As soon as we heard him playing, we all died and went to heaven.
No way.
And he remembered. And I think 2 years later, we played behind Sinatra. And that's what set him off on the road to success, because that's when Reprise Records first started. And he was the first guy to record
Get
on Reprise
out.
Records. And it was his 80th birthday. And we all sang happy birthday to him. And I told him I was going to interview you today. And he said, tell her I want to play with her. I want her to sing with me.
You're like I'm getting I would no, I'm just first of all, I'm so disappointed that I didn't go to the show. Second of all, that message is just like what a gift. Wow. I'm glad you're recording this. We have to save this. I would love to record with him. I would love to. He's amazing. He is just amazing. And his energy and his spirit and the shows are just infectious, and he's just something else. And every time I see him, I'm always happy to see.
Thank
Oh,
you
how
so much.
fun. I can't wait to be in touch with him. Thank you for that amazing message that you.
I'm going to, when we get off of this, I'm going to text you his phone number.
Oh my, how fun. Do you know how fun that is? That would be amazing. But
Just send him a text.
I will. I definitely will. You can count on that. You can count on that. How fun would that be? Well, Les, I look forward to getting together with you. We'll have to plan lunch this summer if you're around. And
Absolutely.
Rhonda too, let's all sit and just chat. I'd love to hear more of your
You've got
stories.
my number. I've got your number. Let's stay connected.
I'll text you and we'll.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Thanks so much for spending time with us.
Oh, it's a joy to spend time with you, and I'm excited to be a part of your show, and congratulations, and thank you for doing it. I know it's a labor of love. Oh, man. Thank you both. Bye-bye.
Over time, I've been building my castle of love just for two, though you never knew you were my reason. I've come much too far for you now to say that I've got to throw my castle away over dreams. I have picked out a perfect come true. Although you never knew it was you. has come from too far away for you to say come back some other day. And though you don't believe that they do come true. So did my dreams come true, and I looked at you. And though I dreamed you would believe, you too might be overjoyed over love, over you. Over hearts I have carefully turned every stone just to find I have found what I'd hoped to discover. I've come much too far for me now to find the love that I sought might never be mine. And though you don't believe that they do come true. For did my dreams come true, and I looked at you. And maybe too, if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed over love, over me. Although the odds are improbable, what do they know? For in romance, all true love needs is a chance. And maybe with a chance you will find you just like I am, overjoyed over love, over me. Oh, like I'm over you.